Defeat, they say, is a routine that is predictable to his enemies. Defeat is a man whose routine is predictable to his enemies. Good evening, dear televiewers, and welcome to the Republican debate on the Republican channel. And today's program will have two major topics on which we will be debating on. The first is the liberation of Senator Regina MUNDI from the hands of separatist fighters in the northwest region of the country. The question is it a joyful event? That is what we'll be trying to find out. And then with the second topic of the day, we're talking about the ASH 2022 President Paul Biya rescues trip. ASH 2022 President Paul Biya rescues a trip. And dear televiewers, I'm not alone during this program. We will be talking with specialists, political party representatives, and experts to see how to throw more light on this topic that greatly affects us. And we'll begin right away with Chi Dieudonné. He is from the STF party. Good evening, Dieudonné.
Good evening, dear madam. Good evening to my co-panelists. Good evening to televiewers. Special good evening to militants and sympathizers of the Social Democratic Front. And of course, greetings to the National Chairman, His Excellency Nigel Frundi. On that note, I want to state him in his 32nd anniversary message to Cameroonians and militants of the Social Democratic Front in particular. The National Chairman noted that as we took Cameroon into a multi-party era in 1990, the time has come for the SDF to take Cameroon into a full-fledged federal dispensation. It is with that orientation that we'll be moving forward in order to make sure that we resolve the very pertinent problems that Cameroon is going through right now.
Okay, thank you very much, Chi Dieudonné. And right away we have Dauda Bombo. I want to believe I correctly called the name. He is a lawyer and a writer. Thank you very much for coming.
I was afraid you can't spell very well my name.
Thank God I did.
Thank you, Anumeko, for your invitation. I'm very glad to be here. I also want to greet my co-panelists. It's always a pleasure for me to be in this stage, this platform, to try to open the door with a key, you know, so that our million of viewers can have a very good idea of what is going through. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. And right away, just very, very close to me is Akufo Enes. He is a media consultant. Thank you very much for coming.
It has already been a pleasure, Lady Anne, to be on this panel on the Republican debate, talk topical issues concerning the Republic. I want to say this is a means through which we bring our small contribution towards nation building. And I just hope that viewers out there who are watching, by the end of the debate, you must have gotten something that will enlighten you as per how the Republic is going on. I want to equally say good evening to my co-panelist, met Barrister Dauda. It's always been a pleasure, Chi Dieudonné, and our dear friend. It's always been a pleasure sharing the same platform with you.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to believe that we're going to share a very wonderful moment today. And that is not all. We have another person. He's very close to me. He is from the People's Action Party. He is Wanyu Celestine and also the president of Yaoundé 4. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, and good evening, co-panelists. I'm very grateful to be here today. I just a point of correction.
Okay.
It's a Popular Action Party and not People's
Okay, Popular Actions Party. Yeah. Thank you.
So it's really a great pleasure for me today to sit with my dear co-panelists to discuss issues concerning the country.
Okay.
And I hope what we'll discuss here today will be for the betterment of all of us all. Thank you very much.
Okay, dear televiewers, you have already seen our different panelists who will be taking part in the debate of today. And before we begin with the first topic, let's watch this press review done to us by Ruth Fonyo. And when we come back, we begin.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Press Review in your favorite program, The Republican Debate over the Republican Television. We begin this week with the Guardian Post, June 3rd publication, which talks about the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon witnessing world's worst rights violation, where many have called on the government and separatist fighters to engage in dialogue, but all attempts turned futile. Wednesday publication talks desperate plea, where people from Gorkatunja of the Northwest region demand military base to curb Amba atrocities. Let's go to Cameroon Tribune, where Luanseni Fall has come to the end of his stay in Cameroon. The representative of the Secretary General of the United Nations Organization and head of the regional bureau got to the presidency to bid farewell to Paul Biya, where they discussed on national development. Mutation talks on the price of technological car inspection, which doubled since June 1st, 2022 in Cameroon. The measure was recently approved by the Minister of Transport, Jean-Ernest Massenangale-Bibehe. This cost increase happened in the context of generalized price increases in Cameroon. It could also affect the cost of road transport. In Minister of Interior, Lambert Noel Matter. And to crown it, the Post talks on international oil company which pleads guilty to paying 7 billion francs CFA to Cameroonian official. See you next weekend for more information.
Thanks once more for joining us. If you are just tuning in, you are watching the Republican debates on Camdis television. We begin right away with the first topic of the day, the release or the liberation of Senator Regina MUNDI. The question is it an event that is joyful? We want to begin right away with Wanyu Celestine, and I want to correct myself. He is from the popular Action Party. I want to believe I'm right. Okay. What do you think about her liberation? Is it a joyful event?
Well, liberation is a joyful event, but not really as important as the way people are looking at it, the way the government is looking at it, because she's not the only one that has been kidnapped in Cameroon. Kidnappings in Cameroon is often, almost every day. The kidnappings are going on every day, but that of the 83-year-old woman is so popular. His release is so popular in a way that it makes her look like a special Cameroonian.
But I want to believe this is the second time that she has been freed from the hands of separatist fighters.
Well, the first time that she was kidnapped, I think the Popular Action Party, if I'm not mistaken, was one of the first political party to denounce her kidnapping. And to an extent that even the Secretary General of the Popular Action Party was attacked by some Amber boys, telling him that he's taking side with the government, with the regime. But Madame MUNDI, as old as she is, we really don't like what happened to her, because first of all, the age, and but it should not be a call for concern, because when the government says they have rescued Madame MUNDI, and what the military is saying is that there was some sort of shooting before the rescue. Her release was negotiated. Yes, if I'm not, the family negotiated and chipped in some money before that drama took place. So really, it should not be something that we should look at it to be very, very important in Cameroon. We have issues in Cameroon that the government is supposed to look at and bring out some resolutions, how we can advance in a peaceful nation. The 2 weeks they are talking about Madame MUNDI, they are forgetting everything. They are carrying our attention now on Madame MUNDI. Meanwhile, there are other issues that we are supposed to be talking about.
If I get you very well, it means it's not an event that we have to be joyful about it.
Where are the delegates that were kidnapped in the Southwest? Are they not Cameroonians? Why is it that our own should be what we should be rejoicing and making noise instead of advancing with other things? I think the government, it is high time the government forget about Madame. Yes, she has been released. But let us concentrate now on other issues. Is the release of Madame MUNDI going to stop the Anglophone crisis? That's the problem. Her release is not the end of the Anglophone crisis. And we denounce kidnapping in Cameroon, even being the military or the Amber boys. Look at people, the military has kidnapped people too and brought to Konenge. We have Pen Terence, he's there. What is his crime? For airing out his political opinion and his brother, that's kidnapping. Madame MUNDI too was kidnapped because of her political opinion. The Ambers to kidnap her. So the government, if they have released Madame MUNDI, the government should equally release those who are in Konenge prisons and other prisons in Cameroon.
Okay.
Yeah, because they share their political views and they are caught.
Okay, thank you very much, Wanyu Celestine. Akufo Enes, today we are saying that the Senator Regina MUNDI from the ruling CPDM party was arrested. That was April 30th, 2022, and was finally liberated by the Defense and Security Forces in Ashon, that is in Batibo, Momo division of Northwest region of the country. Is it a joyful event? This is the second kidnapping.
Lady Anne, I want to say her release, Madame MUNDI, Senator MUNDI's case is not unprecedented and it's inconsequential, okay? Yes, because we want to make a story out of it, whereas, as my brother rightly said, it seems we want to concentrate on treating the consequences rather than the causes. She's not the first person to have gone through that ordeal. His Eminence, may he so rest in peace, Christian Cardinal Tumi, suffered the same ordeal. They were almost of the same age group. You had Nigel Fundi of the Social Democratic Front on 2 occasions. We had Mr. Emmanuel Gafferson, who suffered the same ordeal, and not to talk of others. I was just trying to cite some outstanding elite who've gone through that bitter pill, that ordeal. I think this is one more occasion to tell Yaoundé that Yaoundé should sit up, because it ridicules us like a country. It doesn't portray a good image of what 237 should be, because if we proudly go on media, I mean Yaoundé goes on the media and say the situation is under control, yet we begin to get all of what we're having, it's rather shameful, because we should be talking about the way forward and not begin to go negotiating about release of people who've been kidnapped for whatever reason, which we all know. So, nevertheless, in every cloud, there is a silver lining. Why? Because I feel for her. Mama MUNDI is a victim of the political system in Cameroon. Why do I say so? Proud to multi-party politics in the 90s, her property was rampaged. Everything of her was destroyed, set ablaze. Here is she again today. By then, she was just, I think, a mere politician. But today, look at her, a senator, and she's suffering the same fate. Thank God she was rescued. But this should serve as a lesson. And she did say it. To a really long time short. It means she has gone through a very serious ordeal and has things to tell Yaoundé. Fortunately enough, Yaoundé hurriedly called her to gather the information. But the important thing is not Yaoundé calling her to get information from her. The important thing is, after getting the information, what has Yaoundé done? What is Yaoundé doing? That should be the $1 million question. Because Mama MUNDI may not be the last to have suffered such an ordeal, because I very much doubt if they tell her to go reside again in the Northwest region, she'll go back there. So I want to consider her one of the most recent elite IDPs. I don't know where she's residing, but I don't think if they tell her remain in Bumenda, she'll lie, sleep, and safe on her bed. I don't want to think so. So, making a story out of it, I think Parliament is opening, if not next week. This is an occasion for the lower and upper houses to table a bill as per that issue, because most often the thing is treated lightly. People are killed, properties rampaged, the image of the country is soiled, the economy is on the downturn, because at war, nobody renders account of money given to he or she to manage. So people have turned the situation in a business affair, and they are reaping fat from it. So it was high time we look up at ourselves. We sit on a round table as we sit here, and we talk genuinely. Yes. It's no more time for making noise. It's time to talk the truth. Brother, I heard you. Please, can we go forward from here? Rather than keep making a hell of noise and telling lies. Well, it's very unfortunate. After she went visiting the president of the Senate and the prime minister, they may send ombudsmen to her again, and when they'll get to her, they will not bring back good information as per how to the way forward. That's rather paradoxical. So I think it's important that from this peculiar situation, we should wax our ears and look for the way forward, rather than always having to run after release, run after rescuing. It makes no sense.
But it somehow is a joyful event.
I wouldn't deny that. There's no gainsaying.
Okay.
We don't create life, right? So and we shouldn't take away life.
Okay.
So that's why I say it is not unprecedented, but it is also inconsequential. When I look at the global picture, but to humanity, it is important, because when a soul departs, just imagine when we leave out of this studio this evening, and then somebody will suddenly hear somebody has departed, will feel too bad about it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Dauda Mombo. Want to find out from you. April 30th to May 30th, we can say approximately almost 1 month that Senator Regina MUNDI was in the hands of separatist fighters in Batibo. Can we say her liberation is a joyful event?
Yes, there's no doubt, Anno Meko. But, you know, I want to make mine the intervention of my predecessor in this panel by saying maybe otherwise, that as it happened to Senator Regina MUNDI, who is a famous personality, he drew our attention, and he questioned us now to how we are going to manage this, in quote, this war, this crisis. Because the detention of during 1 month, we can ask ourselves, how were she feeding? Where those people are taking money? That means that they are well prepared to continue to resist. And the government have to pay a big attention on it, really, because population are tired, are really tired. Man can say enough is enough. So we have to find a real solution, adapted solution, so that we will come back to, why not? We can sit, make another Grand Dialogue National. Why not?
Sit on dialogue table.
Sit and talk with them. You remember what Senator Regina MUNDI said when they released her. She said, she asked for those boys, is our children. They asked them to come back to the normal activity, because maybe she has discussed with them. During 1 month you can exchange, you can see their mind, and what we are all sure now is that this crisis don't have any issue. You have to be clear on that. Maybe those who think it before was thinking that when they will make such of things, maybe people will, the government, because that is an address to the government maybe will pay really attention to their revendication. But you see that every day people are dying, children are not going to school, you cannot go to the hospital, you cannot live comfortable, because in the northwest and southwest, at any time, anything can happen. So, and in the whole state, you cannot be also stable, living peacefully, because part of Cameroon is in crisis. So that liberation for me is a very good thing. I'm very happy because of this issue, because you see, to finish like that, to our people, a woman like Senator Regina, who was 80 years old, wise and so on, it would be a very great loss for all of us. Now, when she are coming back now, I'm sure that the service, special service, will try to get more about it. So what I want also to add is that nobody gain anything with such of environment, difficult environment, crisis everywhere and so on. So the program the state I put in place is also a main tendu to those boys to come back. For example, I'm thinking about the DDR program, the rehabilitation. They can seize that opportunity to come back and to really put the problem in the table so that we can discuss, because we are one. Cameroon is one and indivisible. There's no way, I didn't see anywhere where a country like this will accept to cease no way. I didn't see it.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Chi Diodone, we are talking about Senator Regina MUNDI. After spending almost 1 month in the hands of separatist fighters in Batibo, can we say that is a joyful event today?
Well, I want to first of all congratulate you for the manner in which you framed the topic of your debate, because there is a debate going out there whether it is a rescue or a release. So you reasoned properly to escape any of the two words, because rescue and release do not mean the same thing.
Yeah.
I will not want to also draw a conclusion on actually what happened, whether she was rescued or she was released, because I don't have
Proofs for that.
proofs to that effect. That said, it's quite unfortunate that some time ago, when the national chairman of the Social Democratic Front, who remains the most legitimate Anglophone, so-called Anglophone political elite, because he's the only one that has been able to prove to Cameroonians that whether you are so-called Anglophone or so-called Francophone, if you can serve the interest of the people can see with you. That is why in 1992 he was elected and his victory was stolen. When he was kidnapped, some people of the CPDM gave the impression that he organized his kidnap, and that there was nothing, it was not the case. Probably maybe that is why he was not received by the Prime Minister immediately after. Today, maybe they will tell you that Madam Senator MUNDI organized her kidnap, or that the fund of Bambalang organized his kidnap, or that the divisional officers that were taken organized their kidnap. So you see, there is a lot of political demagogy in our political scene. People say things for political expediency because they want to take advantage of frustrations for political gains. And they feel that because the chairman Frundi does not share your ultra-centralized and your dictatorial method of doing things, that is the main reason why we're in this crisis, because he doesn't share it. You have to give the impression that he organizes kidnap. Today they are victim of the same thing. And we of the Social Democratic Front, and I personally, I am not for that, because you know, even at war there is a category of people that, you know, you respect them, you don't go close to them, whether you agree with them or not. So, well, it has got to the stage where it is right now, but the problem now is the way forward. But I want to take it from her words to say that, to say whether I am happy with her liberation, the answer will be yes and no. Yes, I am happy with her liberation, just like every other Cameroonian. If you have somebody who has been kidnapped and then the person is released, you will be happy.
This is the second time.
I am happy with her liberation. Secondly, to say that it is not a celebration is because her release doesn't solve the problem. There are so many others that are still there. Who will release them? How will they be released or rescued or whatsoever? Nobody knows. At this point in time, she said that when she left, she said two things that are very important. She said that there is war. It's not easy. This is what so many of them in Yaoundé give you the impression that there is no war. Everything is under control. You just have some pockets of resistance. Everything is fine. But she came out and said there is war. It's not easy. Secondly, she said, I want to insist that Cameroonians are treated equally, that in such a way that they are treated equally. And I want to tell the Cameroonian people that are listening to me this evening that she was right. And the rightness in what she is saying is that the marginalization that is going on in this country that the so-called Anglophones are crying about is the marginalization that is going on in the so-called Francophone regions. They have divided Cameroon into a small class of rich people and a big class of poor people, all of them from all the tribes of Cameroon. These rich people come from all the tribes of Cameroon. This majority of poor people come from all the tribes of Cameroon. Let me take the case of the Menchum Fall, for example. We hear that the Menchum Fall could have provided electricity for the whole of West Africa. Okay, the Menchum Fall is in the northwest. If they had taken advantage and exploited the Menchum Fall fully, and that Cameroonians had electricity free of charge, and that we don't have all these blackouts that we have today, would that not be of interest to the common Cameroonian? That will be the interest of the common Cameroonian, no matter where he is coming from. But they have made sure that for them to go and develop such a thing that will take care of the masses, no.
Are you trying to say that they have not gone there to develop because it is in the Anglophone region?
I'm simply telling you that it is not simply because it is in the Anglophone region. It is because the outcome of such a project will be to take care of the interest of every Cameroonian, a majority of the people. But that is not their interest. Their interest is ruling Cameroon, not even governing, ruling Cameroon in such a way that the minority, the 1% or less than 1%, are extremely rich, probably less than 1% in which Madam Senator MUNDI finds herself, are extremely rich, while the majority are extremely poor, coming from all over. That's why I said she was right when she said Cameroonians, no, she wants to make them understand that Cameroonians are equally treated. And in the midst of this crisis, the people are suffering today. It's a crisis of bad governance, but which I personally qualify a crisis of frustration and manipulation. People, the so-called people of the Northwest and Southwest, are rising up today because of frustration. They are expressing the frustration that every other person else in Cameroon is feeling. When you heard my national chairman, when he spoke on Cameroon College, he said, when I started crying that there were no roads in the Northwest and Southwest, when I looked around where I came from, there were no roads. The ring road, nothing. This one, nothing. This one, nothing. They came and they killed Wada. When they carried all, killed all what made the Northwest and Southwest man autonomous. When he started crying, he came across the Mungu. And he went and he discovered that even in Yaoundé, as we talk today, people are living in very, very abject conditions. So he said, no, but the problem that I'm crying is everywhere. But that is the message that Cameroonians must get. And I want to thank her for saying that we are equal. Probably maybe she intended something else. But I want to thank her for mentioning that statement. Cameroonians are equal in two classes. Equal in that the system that is ruling us has made it that we have a minority that are enjoying and a majority that are suffering. And look at the inflation that we are having today. It's the inflation of the poor man. Let me be very candid with you. It is the inflation of the poor man. If you go to the market and you are saying that you cannot buy mackerel again, these people who have stolen Cameroonians' money will never have such a complaint because they drink wine for 100,000 where you don't have money to even drink beer. It's the inflation of the poor man. Where are we in a country where people will build Grand Mall, build this to import flour, import yeast and sell in the Grand Mall when you cannot yet produce flour? You think that they do that is a mistake? It's not a mistake. They have stolen our money. They have the money to go and buy imported things in that Grand Mall, but they know that we, the poor people, we will not be able to get there. Cameroonians should get it. And as the national chairman noted in his message, national chairman noted that it is time and the SDF is ready to usher Cameroon into a full-fledged federal dispensation. Okay. And the challenge for Cameroonians is to begin to assemble themselves, irrespective of tribal or linguistic origin. I keep saying it. I always call it the so-called Anglophone problem because that Anglophone issue is flimsy to me. I don't know. I will not defend it now, and I'm not even tomorrow. Cameroonians should begin to assemble themselves. Yeah. And assembling themselves without considering tribes. Let us come together and see that our basic problem is that we have a minority. We have an elite that doesn't serve the general interest, and that this elite must give way. Okay. And we make them give way. Okay. It is possible. And to end with the Mankan proverb which says, how can palm wine be good to drink, but not good to tap? Okay. And people will complain that there is dew on the road. That dew means nothing to go tap good palm wine in the morning. We have to go and tap that wine. Okay. And on this note, to also greet the Mankan people who are awaiting a new king by Tuesday next week. It's very important. The first vice president of the CPDM who is king of Mancon, went on a very long journey.
Yeah, we
and
know,
a new
yeah.
one is coming back by Tuesday next week.
Okay.
So
Thank
I
you.
want to join
We'll
them
come
as we
back
prepare to celebrate the new
Thank you
king.
very much, Chi. We'll just have a break. While waiting to take back the first topic, watch a report done to us by, I think we'll move over to the northwest region of the country to meet our northwest regional correspondent, Neighbor Jerome, who tries to paint a picture on the ambience of during the release of Senator Regina MUNDI. And when we come back, we continue.
The ruling CPDM party senator, Regina Elizabeth MUNDI, has been freed by defense and security forces after spending almost a month in separatist captivity. The senator, who was freed during an operation carried out by defense and security forces from May 29 to 30th in the locality of Ashong in Bratibo, Momo division of the northwest region of Cameroon, has expressed her feelings after being rescued.
I'm really overwhelmed with a concern for my release, starting from the presidency. In fact, I thank the head of state. Seen within this month, it's not what we can talk here, but this country, this region is at war, real war. It is not easy. It is really difficult for the military. It is not easy.
The operation, which met with fierce resistance from heavily armed terrorists, which saw some members of the armed gang injured, while others tried escaping with several hostages during the heavy exchange of fire. This operation, which finally led to the release of Senator Elizabeth Regina MUNDI and several other hostages, saw dozens of terrorists neutralized, with others captured.
To talk more. But just to let you know one thing, our country is such that everyone is treated fairly and equally. So the military will rescue anybody. It's not just a senator that the military will go after to rescue. The military will rescue everybody. We met as prisoners. I didn't know her as such, but I know one thing, she is a Cameroonian.
Several weapons and ammunition were also recovered, as well as the vehicle of the senator, as part of the successes of this operation.
Thanks once more for always being there. We continue as you just watched that report. We are sorry for that mix-up. That was a report done to us by Ghislaine Afo, but the images were done in the northwest region of the country. And right now, we'll be talking about the general who led the expedition that led to the rescue or the liberation of Senator Regina MUNDI. He made mention of the fact that the local population contributed greatly to her release. Do you think the population has a role to play for peace to return in the northwest and southwest regions of the country?
I want to disagree with the fact that the population led the general to where the woman was kidnapped and kept. Because if that's the case, then the population would have helped the militaries ever since, so that we can get all the amber bases and bring this thing to an end. If they are saying that the population helped them, led them to where the woman was kidnapped and kept, it means that they can equally go to all other amber bases and bring this thing to an end. So all that one is just to give praises to the Minister of Defense and his generals for a work which did not happen the way they are.
But we can, however, say that the forces of defense and all that, they're also trying, spending sleepless nights, because I want to believe it was not an easy operation.
Madam Anne, the people you are calling that are doing a lot of work, they have benefits on what is going on. Because if, I'm telling you, Cameroon military is experienced, that one is true. If they want to bring this war to an end, they will do it. But they keep prolonging it because they have their benefit. They know what they benefit from.
So what do you think are some of their benefits?
No, they benefit from there. They have allowances, they extort money from the Anglophones that way, in Northwest and Southwest. There's too much control. Everything in Northwest and Southwest today You know, if you even speak English in Northwest or Southwest, you will pay. You pay for it.
Do you have proofs for that?
I have proofs, but I cannot give you the names or where my proofs come from.
So I want to understand something. You said if you speak English in the Northwest and Southwest regions, you have to pay.
I have a brother who was arrested because he answered a military man in grammar. The man spoke to him in French, I answered in grammar, and it became a problem. He was locked up. They released after some days. So those are one of many cases. So I want to say the government, you see, we had a scammed national dialogue, which till today, with the special status, has yielded no fruit. So what I think is that if the military claim to be as experienced as they are saying, they are in a good position to use the population of Northwest and Southwest and bring this issue to an end. But there is no war that can end in the bush. That's one thing. All wars end on the table. So if Mr. Biai is wise, from what Madam, one thing again I want to make us know here is that Madam Regina MUNDI, like that, she can never be accepted to meet face to face with Paul Biya. I'm not sure. You only end at the Prime Minister's office.
One never knows.
Yes, because if she meets the president, she will tell the president that what she's saying, the country is at war. And she emphasized that really in war. So what should be done? No war has been ended in the bush. Wars end on the table. So the president should release those that are in prison. The Ayok Sisiko them. They should release them, grant amnesty to those who are out of the country. Then we come, as Chief Riley said here, if I have hurt you, please forgive me. We forgive ourselves on the table. Yeah. And you see that the war will end. Because if we bring those people, the people who are promoting the war are in the diaspora and in Yaoundé. In Yaoundé. So Yaoundé plays a vital role with the people in the diaspora to continue what is happening that way. Now we'll talk about the DDR centers. There are people who were brought from Bamenda and Northwest and Southwest and are in prison and still keep saying it. Why can the government not release these people and send to DDR centers? Why are they keeping them in the prison? They are keeping them because that DDR centers is to reform the people and bring them back to normal life. But when you keep them here in the prison, they grow again. They develop more ideas, more bad ideas.
Don't you think that when you talk about the prison and the DDR centers, I want to believe that those in the DDR centers have accepted that they cannot win the war against the government, and maybe those in the prison are reluctant to accept the reality of things? Don't you think that is where there is
Well, it can be like that, but what effort has the government done? So that, because if the government made an effort, us Cameroonians will really see, because there are some, not all of them there are happy to be there. Some are there, and some are praying that way, if I have the chance to come out, in short, I'm not even going again to Norway, I'll remain here. Some have that idea. So the government should sample them and come out with those who are willing and ready to go to the DDR centers. Okay,
one last question. Do you think that the June parliamentary session that will be taking place on Tuesday, that is 7th of June, do you think the Anglophone crisis will be tabled?
I don't think so, because it is something that would have been done since. So
there is time for everything.
There's time for everything. Well, there's time for everything. I just pray that it happens like that. But I still see doubt in it. But I pray that it happens like that. Because I've said it, the regime, this regime is a very bad regime. And the regime knows what is happening. So for them to table that problem in the parliament, it means that they have decided that no, this thing now, let us end it.
Okay, thank you very much. Akufo Enes, now we are talking about the defense and security forces who did, I want to say they did so much to see how to liberate Regina MUNDI from the hands of separatist fighters. They also made mention that this liberation would not have been possible without the assistance of the local population. Can we say the local population also have a pertinent role to play for peace to be restored in those restricted regions?
Thank you, Lydia. And I want to say there is no gainsaying about our military forces being up to the task. Up to the task will mean that, you see, there is forced to be this synergy between the army and the population. Because when you look at the fundamental role of the armed forces, security and armed forces is to protect the citizens from anything that can harm them. And we've seen the security and law forces on the field. Either they're providing pipe-borne water to the population where there is no water, either they are teaching the children in some of the localities where you no more have schools and teachers, either they are in the hospital administering treatment on some population there. You see, there is this one-on-one relationship between the army and the population, because the population cannot live without the security and armed forces. Since we always have men of the underworld, people who are always looking for trouble, so they are there to see into it that peace reigns, that security reigns. As per whether on the one hand the population is assisting them, I will put it in a mishmash situation. Mishmash, as my brother did say, because if the population were working in total synergy with the security and armed forces, I don't think we wouldn't be talking about the current war anymore.
It means we can say that it was a mistake for the general to really come out clearly
no.
that the population assisted them. What is their fate?
No, he didn't make a mistake. He didn't make a mistake because we saw during, I think, the last outing of the Prime Minister to the Northwest region, he openly told the population, you are responsible for what is happening to you. I quite remember somewhere along the line he said that, and he accused the elite of the two regions that you must contribute to see into it that your people's conditions are bettered, because apparently there is a connivance between the population in some of the population in some areas between them and the voices in the bushes. Yes, because when you go to some areas, well, I don't want to stigmatize here. When you go to some areas, you find the rapprochement between the armed force, the armed and security forces, and the population is 100%. Yes, they live in harmony. There is no wahala. But when you go to other areas, the situation, the rapprochement is conflictual. Yes, there is. They live a cock and cockroach life. That can never work. And when you look at those areas, you see the upheaval there, you see the turmoil there. Whereas, I repeat again, whereas, if you take the original role of the army, which is to secure the people, their property, and then safeguard them, you see that there is every reason for the population to harness their efforts with that of the security and armed forces to see into it that peace reigns. Somebody did mention here that people are tired and fed up about the war. Yes, be it the population, be it the security and armed forces, because this is an unprecedented situation. It happened in the 60s, but I don't know whether it had this magnitude which it had today, because today it is no more a conventional war. Yes, it's not conventional. So, and if we think that the army can succeed in the two regions without the assistance of the population, I don't see it working, because one, they don't master the terrain. The people are supposed to maybe tell them, if you want to get from here to about 10 kilometers, don't go this way, bend left, go right, go direct, and all the like. So there is the need that if we must equally know that the population from the onset, I want to put it in quotes, may have been brainwashed. You get the point?
By?
May have been brainwashed. I say, you see, I put it in quotes. So now there is a realization that things are not working, because out there it is a lot of outcry, because rather than the very people who were for the population being pushed by the population, saving the population, the population is being harassed by the very people. So when you look at the situation now, you begin to ask yourself, it seems as if we are at a crossroads and we know not which way to go. Either we are going in for the security forces and armed forces, either we are going in for the voices in the bushes. You see, people are at the crossroads now. And I do fervently think that the response is incumbent on the government. Yes, it is incumbent, because the government is supposed to see into it that her citizens live at peace.
So we can hope of that during the parliamentary session in June, it is going to be tabled.
Well, let's hope that it be officially introduced like a point on the agenda. Okay. Because for the past 5 or 6 years, the parliament has been cunningly doing it. You see, they'll just tell you that we are talking about the Anglophone problem. Bring it squarely, like a point on the agenda, so that it be discussed. And if there are avenues for another dialogue, or you see, dialogue is a continuous process. Okay. And at the very moment you think that you have attended or you have won in a discussion. We don't win in a discussion, we learn from a discussion. And you see, after World War I and World War II, as my brother rightly said, wars never end in the bushes. Wars end round a table. Yes, wars don't end on the battlefront, because on the battlefront, people will still be nursing their wounds and they will not want to make concessions. But when we sit on a table, there are concessions we're supposed to be made.
The question now is, who are those to represent the separatist fighters?
Lady Anne, when you pose such an intriguing question, I want to say we should devoid from being escapist, right? Yes, we should devoid from being escapist, because that will be tantamount to playing to the ostrich.
Because we know that they say that their representative, those the consortium, they are in prison, and so they are the ones to come, whereas others are out there. Do you think it will be possible for the government to release them so that they can come to the dialogue?
Well, let me bring an anecdote to you. Prior to the 2018 presidential elections, one of the candidates was in prison, and he was brought to the court to answer to some charges which he did some accusations, and even after the elections he was escorted again to prison, and he proved beyond reasonable doubt how elections were rigged in certain polling stations. That could be done, but I don't think that bringing the other party to such a dialogue on that very tight security situations will make any sense. Christian Cardinal Tume will almost get back to him. He tried this out before the major national dialogue. He had wanted to bring the Anglophones together. From there, maybe other leaders could be chosen by the people to say, okay, you speak on our behalf somewhere. All of that was shattered. And it's only today we're crying over spilled milk. Okay, do we keep crying over the spilled milk? I don't think so. Unfortunately, we will hardly see a handful of honest and trustworthy Anglophones who can talk on behalf of Anglophones. The majority of them are, let me put it in quotes, fighting for their stomachs.
Oh my God.
There's no saying about that.
Okay, thank you very much, Dauda Bobo. Today we are talking. That is the general who led the operation to liberate Regina MUNDI said that the local population contributed greatly to her rescue. Can we say that the local population have a greater role to play for peace to return to the northwest and southwest regions?
For answer your question, before coming to your question, I want to note that Cameroon is a very beautiful country. Okay. We are talking of delicate problem, openly, with freedom. Nobody is contested, nobody is threatened. that is wonderful. And I'm sure that if we accept ourselves, understand ourselves, talk to ourselves, things will move on better. I'm sure. I hear in this panel, somebody was saying that the problem of Cameroon is that there are majority of poor who belong to, who come from any part of the Cameroon, and few of rich who have taken the population in hostage and who share our wealth. That's the truth. It's not people from a special area. I mean, coming maybe from the southwest. They are all children of this country. That means that there's not separatism problem in this country. Yes, we can have approach. We can have a different way to see things. But we have to know that Cameroon is all of us. It's not even here. It's not Fundi. It's not, I don't know where I can cite it. It's all of us. That is the reason why we belong to a state. A state is all the Cameroonian. I'm always afraid when politicians take the floor to say things, you know, because they don't see the danger. Today, they are in opposite side, but tomorrow they will be in power. But they will manage the same population. That's what they used to forget. And it's better to at times to tell them that they will not go and create another type of population to come and put it and manage them. They will be the same population. Why am I saying that? I'm not forgetting your question.
Yeah,
I'll come back.
this is time.
Yes. Why am I saying that? It's because when we sit here,
Yeah.
we don't have to forget that we have to take into consideration certain fragilities. Approach. We have to educate. We have to try to put people together, not to. Yes, thank you. When you take a small consideration and make it as a general rule, it cannot work. I hear my colleague say, my neighbors was saying that, I'll come to that, it's not nice to hear that, who is a soldier? A soldier is a soldier of, he wear a uniform of Cameroon. He represents Cameroon.
Yeah.
And I want to say that he's there because he wants to protect the population. He cannot go against the population. That's what you have to know. I was coming to
Yeah, so we can count on the local population for peace to be restored.
When you say that you take a particularity and say that he talk in English, another one talk in French, it cannot solve any problem. That is even linguistic. It's not even our culture. When we get to in our ethnicism, yeah. When we get into our ethnicism, you can see that before all those people, we were tribe, and we have the same. We have our culture. That's what you have to promote. That's what we have to promote. Don't take linguistic aspect and make it. That's the reason why we have all those troubles.
Okay. Now going back to the question, can we rely on the local